Hey, welcome to Mike's Trains, and thanks for joining me for another video. This video, I promised you, I said last week we were going to start looking at the LED lighting, and you're noticing the video overall is kind of dark. And I need to do this in order to show contrast. I've started the lighting a little bit on this one side, and if I turn on the power, this is what you get. Alright, you can see the lighting, the curtains are backlit. Okay. And the door has a little bit of light, and I added the white to this back wall here like I talked about last time. So now you can see how that's going to be. And of course no lights show up down at this end because that's all painted off. So let's go ahead and let's take a look at what I've done and how we're going to light the rest of all of this. Let's look at what I've done already. So what I have on this side is I have a strip of styrene. Underneath the strip of styrene, I put in some of these LEDs. I put a long strip that runs from about, right about in here, all the way out into this area here. And I'm using these LEDs, they come on an adhesive strip, because I can cover a long area and only run one set of wires. You can see here, at the end of the styrene, I have marked a plus side and a minus side. This strip has small copper pads on each end, and then there's a plus and a minus on either side to tell you which way to hook these up to. So this is what I've done. And let's look at the rest of this and how we're going to get this done. And then I have right here, I have hookup wires and some test leads that go over to my power supply that's set to 12 volts. So I can mess with resistors, and I also have two resistors in line on the negative side right here. Both of them together is almost 7K ohm resistors in line to come up with the brightness that I wanted for over here. Alright, one wasn't enough, and the next size up that I have is too much. So I ended up putting two together. And then these will drill a hole down the side here, down in this floor, and these two ends will drop down, and I'll end up putting wire connectors on the ends. But for the benchtop purposes for building, this works just fine. So let's get started on this side. What I have is some strips of styrene, and I have this so you can see what it is. It's right here, and this is 60 thousandths thick by 0.375 thousandths wide. So this is what we end up with. So we'll pull out a strip, and what we're going to do is we're going to cut a strip of this that's going to run right across here like this, right over this. Make sure we're hitting over the tops of the interior. So this is the furthest forward wall we have. So I want to have the strip kind of to this side of the wall. So this strip here, we'll cut it off. I think we'll cut it off into like this neighborhood right here, like that. Alright, so now we have that. So that'll run straight across like that. Now the only things I need to do to get this strip in here is I'm going to take out my Dremel, and we need to notch each of these walls so that it matches, just like I did on this side, so that when the light is on the bottom, we attach the LEDs to here, and then we fit it on here, that this strip here is below the wall height, because this height here is what the roof is going to lay on, and I don't want this laying above that. So what we're going to do is I'm going to take out my Sharpie here. I'm going to set this into place where I want it, and I'm going to mark where I want to cut this. So now we have marks to go by. 2, 3, 4. So now we're just going to take the Dremel, and I got a cutoff wheel, and we're just going to rip right through that and get those cut out. Okay, so those are all cut through now, and let's get the plastic strip applied to the LEDs applied to the strip here. Alright, so all we're going to do is we're going to unroll the length of this. We're going to start about a little bit back from the edge over here. And we're going to bring this all the way out to the end here. So we're going to cut it off at this last strip. Now I've talked about these before, and I'll show you, if you want to see more, check up in the corner of the screen. There'll be a link to a video that I did earlier explaining these a little bit better. Alright, so we're going to stick these on here. Peel off the adhesive. So we're going to start these back from the end right here, and there's a reason for that. I'll show you that in a little bit. So let's just start working these down. Okay, so there's our LED light strip. I just want to make sure these are firmly on, and then this is going to sit over the top right here, just like this. Okay, yeah, just like that. Now this one, we may have to cut this wall down just a little bit further. The rest of these, no. Yeah, no, I guess we're okay. Actually, I think we're okay with all of them. Okay, so we have that. That's all cut. Now, up at this end, this is the end that the wires are going to solder onto. I'm going to take my pin vise and a small drill bit. The drill bit that we're going to use is just a shade, just about the same size as the wire that we're using. So I'm going to put this in here. And we're going to drill a hole in front of each side. Alright, and then we'll just take the knife and we'll just clean those up like that. Alright, so now we need a piece of, only a short piece of wire. See, I've already stripped back a little bit of these two wires, and we're going to run a wire. It's going to get, you know, let's take the blue wire. And we're going to run that from in here. So that's going to come up through here like this, and then we're going to bend that over and solder it to this first pad, and then the white one will come over to the second pad. But we need to see which way this is going, so I'm going to mark the back side. So I'm looking on here and I can see that the plus side is right here, the minus is here. So we're going to flip this over. We have the plus and then the minus. This way, once it's face down, I know which wire is which and I don't have to see it. I don't have to read the wiring on there. So now what I want to do is I want to tin the ends of the wire. So I'm going to cut me a little piece of white wire. Alright, let's strip that off. I'm actually going to snip this off. Only need a little bit of exposed wire. I'm going to get my clip here, and we're going to put this in and twist this a little bit. This one in here, this one in here, and then we're just going to tin the ends of the wire. And then once these are tinned, we'll pass them through here and solder to the copper pad. Let's bring this up here because we want to put a little bit of solder on these little copper pads here. So let's get a little bit of solder. Just like that. Okay, so one at a time. Let's take this white one. So I have the white over here. The white is the plus, so I want to keep that the same. So I'm going to go through here. This is the plus side. And I'm going to take my cutters and I'm just going to bend this over like that. Like that. And then we'll take the other one, same thing. Alright, so now we have our two connections made, and I just want to strip off the end here, and let's just double check to make sure our lights are working. Okay, so we have our connections. So the minus side is the blue. Hook this here, and we'll hook this here, and we have lights. Okay, so this is all working. Now we just need to install it onto the building. Okay, so now we need to put this up here and see where this is going to lay. This is going to go something like this. And then I only need enough wire to go to each of these. We only need enough wire to go to each of these two spots right here. So I want to cut them a little long. So I'm going to cut this out here like that. And we're going to cut this one out here like that. Now I'm going to strip off the ends. Like that. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to wrap this wire right there like that. We're going to wrap that, the white to white, and then this blue to blue. Like that. And then we're going to solder that together. And that should be good just like that. And that's it for soldering. Okay, so now we've got all these ends soldered here. Now we just need to attach all of this. Now what I'm going to do at this end is I'm going to cut a small piece of styrene and I'm going to glue it to the end here and to the side wall in here at the height that I need it at. So I'm going to bring that down. It's going to go a little bit shorter than the wall, so we're going to use this same styrene. I'm just going to kind of eyeball this into the right size. Take my pencil, right there, and we're just going to clip that off. Like that. And then I'm going to glue this. I'm going to use CA glue on that. I'm just going to put a little CA on the bottom here. And we're going to slip this right down in here. And then that will sit right on top of there like that. Alright. And then we're going to use CA to glue all the rest of this into place. I don't know. I'm still thinking I want to cut this one down just a little bit more. Yeah, I think we can use a knife for that though. There's just a little bit here, like that. Yeah, that's better. Alright, so we'll pull this out here. So let's start at the end. Put a little CA down on here. And we'll go on each one of these, like this. Like that. And then we're going to seat this right down in each one of these. Like that. Like that. And I'm not really worried about if we're sitting on top of an LED in here. I don't really care. It's not going to matter in the scheme of things. It really doesn't matter if an LED gets covered. There are 3 per inch in here, so if one is covered in that inch, it's fine. It's just really just not going to matter. So we want to let this dry. We're going to hang on to this and let it all dry up. So we'll come back in a few minutes when this is dry and we'll move on from there. Alright, so I've gone and I've done a little bit more. What I had done is I showed you I had resistors coming off of this set of wires, and I double resisted it to bring it down to the brightness that I wanted this set of lights to be at. And turns out when I added on this section of lights, normally I put in all my lights, then I resistor them, and I tried to cut the corner and resistor it ahead of time, and ended up making the whole strip too dark. So I cut out one of the resistors and we're fine. The other thing I did was I actually cut the hole in the bottom of this right here, and the wires are coming out the bottom of the building now. And then I taped off the 2 solder joints we did inside of here. All right, and we're all set. This is all done. The only thing left with this now is to put the roof on along here, and then the awnings in the front of each of these. So let me get myself situated here, and I'll give you a look at what the lighting looks like all completed. Okay, so here we are looking at the front of this. Let me turn on the lights and we'll see what that looks like. And there we go. So that's the whole thing. That's what we've got. And I think it looks pretty good. I don't think we're overly bright. I think we're looking pretty good. The bar is bright enough, but you can't see the wires inside, which is really good. Yeah, I think we're looking all right. So that's it. That's the whole thing. So we're going to call the lighting done. And I kind of want to say we'll call the whole building done, but I think we'll do one more video for the building. We'll do the roof and the awnings in another video. And that's going to be it for this project. It's going to be complete. And I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you liked the way it came out, because I do. I think it came out really good. And it'll make a nice addition to the layout. So, all that being said, thanks for watching. If you're watching for the first time, please subscribe to the channel. Love to have you along. So, until next time, happy modeling.